this.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean? We're at the Super Bowl. This is crazy. There's so many people in here. People see this. Do you guys see? I wish I could just spin that camera around, just show them how many people are in this place. There's just like a billion. Look, people are like that big. That means they're really far away. Look, people all the way over there and all the way over there. This place is huge. It's like 8,000 football fields in one room and a bunch of little ants and people all over the place.
Makes us
But
look small.
we're right here. We're right here.
All right, we're now joined by Dhani Jones on Radio Row, former Philadelphia Eagle, played in that Super Bowl 39. Dhani, Zach Gelb, welcome back to Philadelphia on the airwaves.
Man, Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love.
You got to be happy, though, today. You really
Why
do.
does everybody look at me strange when I say that? I think everybody looks at everybody strange when they say that.
Maybe because no one's ever happy because the team hasn't won a Super Bowl?
I know. Eventually it'll happen. I told some folks earlier today, eventually it'll happen.
What do you remember from that game, Super Bowl 39?
I remember we lost. You know, that's the thing about football, and that's the thing about the Super Bowl. There's so many things that are going on all at the same time. It's hard to recall every single moment. The most important moment to recall is actually the game, and it's just unfortunate we lost it. And I was just reminded a couple hours ago, those last 2 minutes, the pace of the game or lack thereof, and not being as efficient as we could have been. Now, as a defensive player, the only thing that I was worried about was trying to make as many plays as possible. And I remember not making some of the plays that I should have. And I think that as you reflect on games that you've played that you've lost, you wonder where you could have made a difference. And I wish I could have made more of a difference in that Super Bowl.
Did watching the playoff game this year, seeing Andy and Doug Peterson take their time again and again against the Patriots, did that bring back some bad memories for you?
Yeah, I was wondering, like, what's going on here? Like, what's happening?
I was at the game.
Like, what are you doing? I mean, are we trying to win? What's going on?
I have a confession for you. I was at the game, that Kansas City Patriot game. I'm a Patriot fan, and I was sitting there and I go, "This is Super Bowl 39 all over again. It's great."
It's taking time. You know what? Maybe it would be good if Andy Reid and Chip Kelly got together. You know, maybe that would have been the case because Chip Kelly's mentality is always to go as fast as possible. And obviously what happens on offense is that you implement these different types of strategies that you think seemingly will put you ahead. And they will for a while, but defenses will start to catch up. And I think that's one of the main issues, that he couldn't evolve his offense. It was only the pace of it, maybe not necessarily the style of it. And hopefully he's learned from that. Now coming out to San Francisco, Chip Kelly will hopefully re-engineer a new type of experience and be more successful. If not, he'll just go up to Bandon Dunes and play golf up there and go back to the other team and, you know, Oregon, and maybe he'll begin once again. Who knows? I
have to ask you this. It's one of the greatest enigma in the history of Philadelphia sports. Everyone talks about Donovan McNabb, and I believe that he gets unfairly criticized. People need to love McNabb, and it was good to see that whole scene where they retired his number 5, and he said the whole "number 5 loves you," speaking in the third person. That stuff was great. But Ted Johnson told me that he did see him puke in the Super Bowl. Tons of people say he did not puke in the Super Bowl. I have people that are
look. I wasn't in the huddle, so I don't even know.
I know, but you're on the sideline. Did you see him puke?
No, look. I just got off the field. I'm not paying attention to the offense and what they're doing. I obviously want them to, like, hurry up and get the things they need to be done, but I'm all the way on the sideline. And if I remember correctly, the way that the field was set up, it was to the left.
In Jacksonville, yeah.
It was to the left, and we were on the sideline, obviously to the right, and I was all the way down at the other end because that's generally where I would have watched the play. If I get too close to the offense, then I get crowded in, and I like to be more in the spaced area. So I don't think I even really saw it, unless I just completely erased it from my brain.
Now, like, I actually believe you. Like, there's some guys that you could tell they maybe just don't want to say yes because they get a little bit scared.
I saw him throw up. I know that I was all at the very end because I don't like getting stacked in there with everybody else. It's just too much stuff going on. I'd rather have some space so I can yell, I can scream, I can do whatever I want to do. Plus, look, as a middle linebacker, you have to be able to be prepared at any moment in time. You can't be distracted by all the things that are going on with that offense.
Also, T.O. was in that Super Bowl, and he was basically playing on one leg, had a hell of a performance. Could have been the MVP. Probably would have been the MVP if you guys would have won the game. Take a look back at T.O.'s performance. That was one gutsy performance for him.
Who does that?
No one. Only him.
Is that going to happen in Super Bowl 50?
No. Not a guy on one leg.
Yeah, but it's a guy that's out there
with one arm, yeah.
With one arm. And I think that they're going to go right at him. And people are going to be like, well, what is he going to do? Is Davis going to be able to make the plays that he needs to make? Look, as a linebacker, you do the things that need to be done. right? You go out there, you make the plays, you endure the pain, you endure the criticism, you endure the other team lining up and going right at you, and you conquer. So I think he's going to have a great game. I don't think he's going to win the game, but I think that it's going to be a good game.
Getting back to T.O., him and McNabb, they don't have the most loquacious of
Wait,
relationship.
are you taking me back to my SAT days?
Maybe.
Loquacious.
I'm not that far off my SAT, but let's get to this. With that whole locker room and the incident that happened the following year, him doing push-ups and sit-ups in his driveway, how contentious was that relationship?
That was like the beginning of reality TV.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
That was like helicopters and media and cops, and there was just people going over to his house to see him work out, and then you hear the story later in terms of how somebody went in and just like bought his house for peanuts. But I mean, it's just like I think it's because it's it's just a museum of experiences that happened while he was in town. But I've lived through that show many times, and he's still one of the best football players I've ever played with.
We're here with Dhani Jones at Radio Row. Super Bowl 50 between the Carolina Panthers and, of course, the Denver Broncos. If you were going up against Cam Newton, how would you defend him?
Well, you have to when you're talking about a mobile quarterback like that, it's the responsibility of the defensive line to take care of the quarterback. You just have to be able to do that. That's just what it is. People know if you have a running quarterback, if you have a mobile defensive line that's being able to play in their gaps, and I know it's so cliche, but he's also one of those guys that's able to find those little seams in order to kind of get downhill. There's a reason why Carolina Panthers have been successful at 100 yards in the last, 30-some-odd games. They've set a record at it. So it really comes down to that front four. No matter how they make it up, no matter how many different strategies they have, whether they're utilizing one person in order to kind of manage and look at him. But I think that I look at DeMarcus Ware, I look at Von Miller. Those are two incredible linebackers, outside ends, pass rushers that just go wild and crazy. That's just what they do. And I think Cam is going to encounter a different type of game that he's seen all year.
How unfair is the criticism that Cam gets? Because I'm a younger
people
person.
People got to have something to talk about.
It's so stupid. And
yeah, but people want to talk. People want to talk about it. People are like, oh, you should stay in your lane. You shouldn't celebrate. You should focus on the game. Who cares?
The guy has fun and he gives footballs to children. How can anyone hate him?
Well, everybody finds a reason to hate because they can't do what he does. Cam Newton is one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, and people are still confused as to how that's the case. You know what I mean? With so many elite quarterbacks that are out there, of course, the Russell Wilsons, the Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Brady's of the world, you can kind of go down the line of people that have been successful for a long time. And like Cam Newton, how did they almost go undefeated? They played together as a team, and they had fun while doing so. When
you're an underdog like that, because no one really picked Carolina to even make the playoffs this year, let alone get to the Super Bowl and be 60 minutes away from winning it. Do you pay attention to what people pick you before the year, and do you maybe read something and say, hey, that motivates me?
There's nothing that associates the preseason with the regular season and the postseason. It doesn't go together. You could be 4-0 in the preseason. That don't mean nothing when it comes to the regular season.
We know that a little bit here in Philly.
You could be, or the Bengals 12-4. I think we were 12-4, and we lost our first postseason game. I think we're 12-4. Maybe we're
this past year.
11-5. Yeah, 11-5.
Yeah.
12-4. It's one of those games where you watch, you're like, wow, it doesn't matter, and that's why it's important to play the game until the end, right? It's important. It's important to focus. It's important to know that it's a different, you think about the preseason, it's 4 games. Then the regular season, you got 4 individual quarters. And then you have, the second half to the regular, you have the finale or the 5th quarter. And it doesn't necessarily translate at all.
It's such a grind that season. And now you see the entire concussion movie, and then also you have the whole Ken Stabler piece that was out this morning. Great job by Jeremy Schaap. Just seeing all that and all the CTE talk, does that at all scare you as a guy that played in this league?
I've already played in it.
Yeah.
So if it's happened, it's already done.
Sure.
I'd say this, and I'd leave it at, when you play the game of football, you're focused so much on just being able to be the best player that you can be, right? And you want to play to the best of your ability by any means necessary. when you step away from the game, it's important to rediscover sort of that purpose, or rediscover sort of the reason why you're doing the things that you love, because then that puts you back on track. Right, you only can play the game of football for so long, and yes, things happen. But in life, things happen too. But you don't let that deter you find another path, and that's the most important thing to think about. Yes, concussions occur. Yes, CTE is a very real thing. Yes, a lot of people are suffering. Do I ever think that I have bouts of that, or I've had effects of that? I have no idea. Have I forgotten things? Yes. Have you forgotten things?
Sure, I do all the time.
So does it mean because I play football I have it? Does it mean because you haven't played football you don't? I have no idea. The most important thing I can focus on is being able to concentrate on what I'm doing right now in life, concentrate on the next moment, so I can leave an important legacy and keep building upon what I thought I started when I started playing football. And that's redefine what it meant to play football and to transition into the next level.
Do you have kids?
Yep.
Would you let your kids play football?
Yeah, if they want to play, they can play. Go ahead. I'm not going to hold you back.
Sure. Got to make your own decisions.
I'd rather you play squash so you can go out and own a team.
We're here with Dhani Jones, who joins us right now. You have to be happy, by the way, today. Michigan gets the #1 recruit in the country.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. And anybody that's not excited about Michigan, you're just obviously not an alumni. And, there's a couple people that decided to go to other schools.
Sure.
And that's fine. You can go to other schools, but the great University of Michigan is one of the most amazing places. And Harbaugh really kind of redefined what signing day is all about. And everybody's just kind of thinking to themselves, man, he got celebrities. He got the red carpet.
Brady, Jeter were there today.
Brady and Jeter
I have friends
were
at
there.
Michigan. I was getting Snapchats. They have Tom Brady.
Everybody wanted to be there, and it was awesome. And that's something for all of us to essentially be proud of.
I'll tell you this, though. I went to 2 games at the Big House, and I never saw Michigan score a touchdown in the Big House. That's how pathetic it was recently.
It was tough. It was tough. And the Rich Rod days definitely changed the attitude and the way that people were. And now with Harbaugh there, just excited. Jim is bringing a different type of attitude. He's starting to change the entire dynamic of the game. And, this kicking it off, it just sets it in a whole different type of realm.
Let's get to the Eagles right now. You know how desperate the city is for a winning product. They haven't had the most success as a city as a whole because you have the Sixers. They stink. The Flyers are starting to move in that right direction, and the Phillies are under rebuild. They get rid of Chip Kelly. Now Doug Peterson is the man for the job as the head coach. Your take on Doug Peterson?
It's tough to win in Philadelphia. It doesn't matter if you have a long-standing tenure, if you're just a brand-new coach coming out of college. So I always say it takes a little bit of time, and I hope that they have patience. He's had a good run, a great tenure, but so did Chip Kelly and so did Andy Reid. They just didn't get the job done when it comes, to the Super Bowl. And I'd always say I can't make a diagnosis on how I think he'll fare without letting 1 to 2 years go by. The question is, will he have time within 1 to 2 years, or will he only have 1 to 2 years?
When you take a look back at your days playing with the Eagles, how much fun is it to play in Philadelphia, really?
It's fun, but it's really tough.
Okay.
It's tough. The fans who live and breathe, and die and live and breathe and
runs
die
the city,
generations, to pass. It's all about the sports. It's all about the city. And when you haven't had success as you wish to have success, it starts to wear on you. You start to grow that chip on your shoulder, and you feel as a player the responsibility to bring that success and to bring that championship to all that love and wish that to be the case. And it's tough because they love you so hard. It's almost a suffocation. And so, you love playing there, but it's tough because every day you walk down the street, and it's the responsibility of you that everybody feels good the next week. And if you don't win, you don't feel good. And if you don't go to the Super Bowl, you don't feel good. And I can't wait for the Eagles to win the Super Bowl.
It would be.
I can't wait.
Oh, my God.
I cannot wait because I feel like there's going to be
the city will burn down.
Something will be lifted off so many people's shoulders because they're going to look around and be like, oh, my gosh, I've been waiting for this day for my entire life.
The real positive talk of football in Philadelphia this year was actually the college team and the Temple Owls, and I get to do their game, and they have a player, I don't know how familiar you are with Temple football, Tyler Medikevich, who was the Nagurski Award winner and also the Benerick Award winner as the top defensive player in the country, and he projects somewhere to go to the 5th round of the draft. As a guy that's played in the league, what advice would you give to a guy like Tyler Medikevich?
Well, number one, it doesn't matter where you go in the draft, because Tom Brady is one of the greatest quarterbacks.
6'1", 199.
Sixth round. And I was 6'1", 71 or 77. I can't remember. I think 177. So, I mean, it doesn't matter what round you go in. It comes down to the attitude that you have. And I think, if anything, and I'm not sure if he's from – is he from Philadelphia?
No, he's from Connecticut, actually.
All right, so he's from Connecticut, but he understands the blue-collar mentality of a place like Philadelphia.
Temple's the only school that recruited him.
Maintain that blue-collar mentality when you come to play the game of football, and you can play for a long time.
So tell me what you're doing for the game this Sunday and
what
you're enjoying.
I'm not going to be on Radio Row, and I'm not going to be in the stadium with a whole bunch of people. I'm actually going to be sitting at home, and it's going to be awesome. And you know, it's funny you ask, because everybody has a different way that they prepare for the game. And of course, for me, you know, are you a dip guy?
Yeah, sure, of course. I eat anything.
You're a dip guy, though, right? So have you ever had hell of a good dip?
No, I haven't.
All right, so hell of a good dip is probably
it's a hell of a good dip.
It's hell of a good dip. You know, that's how we say it. It's a hell of a good dip. That's it. It's real sour cream, fresh ingredients. Ooh. It's fantastic, and I guarantee a lot of people that are watching, a lot of people that are listening to us have had it. Real sour cream. You know, only the freshest ingredients, 8 different mouth-watering flavors, and all those different, you know, French onion or bacon horseradish, or you can also talk about, you know, jalapeno cheddar, all of those. And one of the things that we think about at Hell of a Good is about the adventurous combinations and all those different ways that you can pick and pair. I mean, you could take corn on the cob and you can spread bacon horseradish on top of it.
What's the craziest thing that you've dipped?
No, I just do the pizza and French onion.
Okay.
Right?
There we go.
But people have done shrimp.
Ooh, that's good.
Shrimp and bacon horseradish dip.
Wow.
So there's all different types of combinations. So, you know, you can check out on hellofagood.com, or you can go to our Pinterest page, cover the spread, and you can look up all the different recipes. You know, it's just the way that we define snacking, all the different combinations.
Now, real quickly before we let you run, as you're starting to get
Broncos.
hungry. Okay, I wasn't even going to ask you for
no,
a
prediction,
but
there
we
Broncos.
go.
Broncos.
All right, well, why the Broncos then?
Peyton Manning, 50th Super Bowl, riding out into the sunset, the sheriff, Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kid. You can make all the metaphors. You know, it's just, I think it's time. And I think it's the best stage and the best way and the perfect opportunity for him to step away from the greatest game at the highest level.
The thing I was actually going to have you do, because I know you love the camera right now. You were touring around right before this interview, showing everyone at home the views of Radio Row and telling me how I look like an ant, although I'm 6'4" and I never got told I would look short in my life. I was going to ask you to dab for the camera real quickly.
I can't dab.
Why not?
Camera.
Come on. You have good moves.
I'm not dab. I'm not
Come
dabber.
on.
You know, I'm a reserve guy.
So what's your dance move? If Dhani Jones is at a club tonight, what's your move?
At Dhani Jones or D0057, you all know my move. And when you watch and listen to this, I want you to tweet me at Dhani Jones or Instagram me at D0057, my dance move, and he'll see it for himself. How about that?
Okay. Fair enough.
Right.
So when you had a big sack, like
they're going to tell you.
Now, come on. You got to show me the move here right now.
What's your Instagram and Twitter?
At Zach Gelb, ZACHGELB.
All right. At Zach Gelb, at Dhani Jones. Make sure you tweet us and show him what I did. School this kid.
Great to see you. Thank you so much.
Right.
There is Dhani Jones joining us from Radio Row. We'll take a quick break and be right back.